Hello there, ladies. Claire Luffman here, Business Mentor, with our complimentary weekly series in the 30 Essential Success Habits for a Six-Figure and Beyond Business. And this week we're diving into success habit number 15, which is to be good and consistent with your marketing. Consistency is king with your marketing, but way too many people are doing these, ebbs and flows or starts and stops with their marketing. It's about being consistent. Right? Even when you're on vacation, there's stuff where you're able to schedule it ahead of time. You do not want to go silent with your community, even if it's just for a week. So how do you do that? Last week we talked about success habit number 14, which was to have a marketing plan and to work your marketing plan. So once you know what your ongoing marketing activities are, schedule them as priorities in your calendar. So if you're going to write a weekly blog post, when are you going to do that? Are you going to write that each week, Mondays from 1 to 3? Block it out on your calendar. It's sacred time. That's money-earning activity time because you're working your marketing plan. Or are you going to write it a month's worth of content? The first Monday of every month you're blocking out to write, 4 articles, your weekly articles. Is it networking events? Block them out now. Get them blocked out. Don't schedule other things if that's going to be one of your core marketing strategies. So that's the biggest thing. These are priorities. Now, I know a lot of times why they get pushed to the back burner is because they're not urgent, right? If I don't send out a Thursday email to you all, it's not like someone's going to call and say, Claire, I can't believe you didn't send me an email. Oh, my gosh, my day just wasn't the same. The stuff's not urgent, right? If you miss a networking meeting or two, it's not urgent. But is it important? Oh, my goodness. And you probably have known the Stephen Covey time matrix, where we want to spend so much of our time in I think it's quadrant 2, which are things that are not urgent, but they are important. They're what's driving your business forward. And those that are successful spend a lot of their time in quadrant 2. And how do you then work on these things that are not urgent? They're not like, shouting out to you. Well, you get really good at just knowing what your plan is and working your plan, meaning you actually have these things scheduled into your calendar and you treat them as sacred. It's also about being good and consistent with your marketing. It's just to know the dollars come from the finishing details. So let's say that part of my marketing strategy is to speak, and I want to speak at least 2 to 3 groups, live groups, each month. Well, know that, and this is part of success habit number 14, creating a marketing plan, was knowing, okay, not only what marketing activities am I going to do, but what are those ongoing marketing activities, like those finishing details. So it's not just enough to just present, right? I want to make sure that I present and present well, but you want to do the finishing details, meaning there should be some way that I, in a very attractive way, ask for people's permission for me to keep in touch, right, for them to start receiving my Thursday email. So that was just when speaking to live groups was a part of my strategy last year. I spoke to anyone and everyone that was willing to listen. I had a process in place, right? So once these people gave me permission and I came on back, either myself or my virtual assistant, we already had a standard email that was already set up and it was written, like, thanks so much for letting me present and blah, blah. And as promised, here's the free gift. And if you gave me permission, you're going to start hearing from me every Thursday in your inbox with friendly training and motivation and encouragement to help you in your business, right? It was already there. It was a process. So that was huge. Instead of me going to present and spending all that time, right, putting together the presentation and getting pretty and driving there, if I did not go that next step, that marketing was almost for naught. I don't want to say totally for naught, but almost for naught. And it's really just being intentional with your marketing. I mean, if live networking, let's say live networking meetings, attending them as part of your strategy, which is great, I always encourage my clients to pick ongoing activities such as that they will have at least one one-on-one meeting each week, right? So they'll be intentional. They'll say, okay, I'm going to the networking meeting this Thursday. Let me see who else is RSVP that I haven't spoken with in a while. Let me shoot them a quick message and see if we can chat, before or after and just find out what they've been up to. Or something as simple as, making sure you're always 15 minutes early, or that you block out time in your calendar 15 to 30 minutes after the meeting, and that you just either go early or stay late and just have a casual conversation with one other person, right? That's not some huge thing, but those are the finishing touches, right? That you're just getting to know another individual. So they don't need to be these huge strategies. That's just being intentional, right? That you're not going to schedule something right before or right after. You're not going to zoom on in at the meeting right at 12 and zoom on out at 1. It's just being intentional. Another thing with the consistency is stop the madness. Stop the madness. Way too many of you are working way too hard with marketing, and you are getting a new marketing strategy off the ground, let's say a blog post, right? A website, a blogging website. You spend all this time getting it up and running, which is like pushing a boulder up a hill, right? It's hard work to get a strategy up and running, or to get a speaking strategy up and running, or a Facebook business page strategy up and running. And what happens is we either get distracted by the shiny object syndrome, and we're like, oh, I need to be over here. Now I need to do Pinterest, and now I need to do this, and we let that boulder roll back down the hill. Or it's just that we're like, oh, this isn't working for me. I'm not seeing the results, right? I'm posting on my Facebook page, but I don't know if anyone is listening. And we give up too soon. I don't know what the reason it is, but we're giving up too soon. We let that boulder roll back down the hill. And why that makes me sick to my stomach is, ladies, it was almost at the top of the hill. If you just were a bit more consistent, that boulder would have gone over the hill and started rolling down the other side, like, whee! You know, where you're like, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this engagement. Oh my gosh, where are these new leads coming from, these new clients? It was because of the consistency. But what's happening is boulder after boulder after boulder is being rolled back down the hill before you had it go over the other side. So please, ladies, stop the madness. Also, when you have your marketing plan and you're getting good and consistent, you're going to find systems that you can put into place. You're going to find ways you can automate it. You can find ways to outsource so that your marketing plan is happening like a well-oiled machine. Like I talked about how if I went out and presented and I had these leads, that it was a system we had in place, right? We already had the email, and either I would just enter them and add them to the list, or I'd actually just email the information to my virtual assistant. So my virtual assistant, she does a lot of my marketing plan. There's times where, let's say I write a whole week's worth of Facebook posts, right? I might just send them to her. We have a shared folder, actually, so I might just put them in there, and she'll just go ahead and schedule them for me so that it just happens. So we also want to find ways to systematize, automate, outsource, streamline the heck out of your sales and marketing funnel. So that's success habit number 15, being really good and consistent with your marketing, and that is huge. So ladies, again, this curriculum is wonderful, and it's complimentary. It's great content, but content is not enough. It's all about getting this into action, implementing. So if you do not have a marketing plan, if you don't have ongoing marketing activities blocked out in your calendar, if you're not being really good and consistent, please, this is huge, ladies. Your sales and marketing funnel is completely blocked or almost non-existent if you do not have an effective sales and marketing plan up and running. So please go ahead and do that. And stay tuned next week when we dive into success habit number 16. If you haven't checked out my website in a while, come on over, ClaireLuffman.com. I'm there to help you, ladies. All right, I'll talk with you soon. Bye.